Hey guys and gals, and welcome to another video from the team here at BlenderTech.com. Don't forget to like the video and to subscribe for more Blender, Unity 3D, programming, Photoshop, and all sorts of other videos. The team tries to add at least one quality video a day. And lastly, don't forget to remember, create your way. So in the last part, we got the entire box modeling done of everything except for the RAMs. What I did was I recorded the how to do all the rigging and how to create, or I didn't do how to create, but I also created the RAMs and these little hydraulic fittings. The RAMs and hydraulic fittings I'm going to do as a separate tutorial. I'm sure you can make your own kind, and I think these are kind of ugly as it is. But this setup does work, but my recording ended up being an hour and a half, and I thought it was way too slow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-record that now. So yeah, I'm still using the December 1st build. I haven't found any problems with it, but I still will be saving often. So anyways, let's open up where we were. Part 1. So yeah, that's where we were when we left off. This is the .blend I left you with. So then, it's just a simple matter of rigging everything in. I am going to simply append my RAMs that I already created, and I will create a separate tutorial that shows how to make the RAMs and the hydraulic fittings and stuff. So let's get started then. First of all, I'm going to go into, left-hand side view in wireframe, and I'm quickly just going to go set up my RAMs in a separate blend file so that I can append them. So I'll be right with you. Alright, I think I got it working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go File, Append, which is just Shift F1. Oh, I better turn on screencast keys. Whoa, as I always forget. So yeah, I'm going to go Shift F1 to append. I'm going to go into my assets. I have RAMs and fittings, and under group, I have group, which is all the RAMs set in their proper positions, more or less, as far as I could figure out. So if you go to the wireframe view, you can see I have all of them except for this big one here. I'm gonna create that one a little bit separately because it's a different size. Anyways, let's see if it carried over the materials. Yep, brush stainless material 001. I don't know why there's a duplicate now. I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Not a big deal. So yeah, those are all in now. I'm gonna ungroup them. Remove from group. There we go. Okay. Remove from group and remove from group. Perfect. Okay, good enough for me. So yeah, I will well, I'll give you the blend file obviously, so you'll have these RAMs, but I suggest you go and make your own because these aren't perfect by any means. But anyways, yeah, that's a good starting point. So let's get this rigged. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off with these main cylinders right here that work on the that push the first knuckle up. I call them the dual RAMs, and I've tried a few different ways now, and I found out that I'm pretty sure they need to be independently rigged. You can't use one rig to do both of them, since we're using a stretch 2 constraint to do this, the way the RAMs move, as you saw in the earlier part. So anyways, what we're gonna do is we're gonna start off. This is still grouped. What the heck? Oh, it's because I had 2 of them there, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Make sure nothing's in a group. I don't like that green. It's hard to see. All right, back and left view. So I'm gonna select this one right here. Its origin is at the top, unfortunately. That's not a problem though. I guess what we'll do actually is we'll start off with the knuckle here. I'm gonna put my cursor right about where the pivot point is, just roughly. It doesn't have to be perfect, because what we're going to be doing with the armature is we're going to be using what's called empty groups. So what that means is once you get your armature finished, then you parent it to your entire mesh, and then you can go and it creates a vertex group for every part of the armature, and then you can assign any part of your mesh, an entire object, the whole mesh, certain vertices, to each armature, and that's how we rig this. It may be a method that you may have not seen before or not used before, but it's very useful in models like this where we don't want any deformation. This isn't a character model. We don't want any deformation at all. So anyways, let's create our armature. So I'm going to go Shift A, armature, single bone. So this is going to be our first. Oh, let me make sure it is aligned in the center first. The ram. So I'm going to go top view. No, it is way off. So we need to just move it to the right. Get it roughly right in the center. That will help. Actually, get it exactly in the center. That'll really help. So I'm going to zoom in all the way and get it right bang on the center. That'll help us in aligning everything else. So that is going to be our alignment point for our armature mostly, but also it'll help us. We can align all these rams that are right in the center with that too. So just something to be aware of. So yeah, anyways, then we're going to take the head, or we're going to go to edit mode first. We're going to take the head and we're just going to grab it and we're just going to move it somewhere up here. We can always change it later, just somewhere out of the way for now, but we know that this operates the main knuckle. So this bone, we're gonna keep a good naming, what do you call it? Naming, my early morning's not good. But we're gonna keep our names consistent basically. So this is gonna be knuckle 01. Since it operates this part right here, which is knuckle 01, incidentally. So back in edit mode here, I'm going to extrude from here. This bone we're not going to use right now, but it will be used in the future, and this is just going to be called boom controller or something like that. And what this bone will do eventually is it will just pull the whole entire boom back if we don't need to make any adjustments to the rest of it. So that'll just be something extra. And I like to keep it as small as possible so it's not in the way, but it doesn't really matter too much. Anyways, we now need a bone for this ram here. So what we need to do is we need to set our 3D cursor to right in the center of it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but obviously the more perfect, the better it'll be. And since we don't have any way of aligning it, since we don't have an origin point there, we can't really do it perfectly, but we can get it as close as possible. So we've now got our 3D cursor aligned to the center of the hole in the ram, and if we go back into left hand view, we just need to align it in the Y and Z axis now that the X axis is aligned. So I'm just going to center it. I'm going to turn down the sensitivity on my mouse here, and I'm just going to center it as best as possible and then try to get it perfect. That's actually pretty darn close, isn't it? But that's close enough. It doesn't have to be perfect. But the more perfect it is, the better. But anyways, from there, we are simply going to Shift A. And that's a shortcut when you're in edit mode of an Armature, and that'll add a new bone. And we're going to call this ram duals.01, since there's two of them, one on each side. I'm only going to do the one for now. Then we're going to take the head and we're going to move it right to the top. An easy way to do this is to go into the ram. So I'm going to go into object mode. I'm going to select this ram. I'm just going to move my cursor to selected. That'll move my cursor right to the center there. Oh, choose the wrong one. This one. Cursor to selected. So that'll move it right to the center there. Then if I go into left hand view, I can move it again right to the center of that hole there. Hard to see, isn't it? God, it's really hard to see. Yeah, that helps. I think that's close enough though. Close enough for now. So now we're just going to go back into edit mode of our armature. Come on, there we go. And now with the head of that selected, all we have to do is go Shift S, selection to cursor, and it'll move it directly to where we had our 3D cursor. So now that's set up perfectly, and that is going to be the bone that stretches the actual ram. So that's ram duals.01. Now from the head, we need to extrude a small bone out. The angle doesn't matter, and this is going to be ram duals.01.tip. Because that's ram duals.01. Yep. ram duals.01.tip. We don't want it connected, we do want it parented, and we don't want it to inherit scale. I'll show you why in a second. Now we're going to go to the bottom. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to extrude a small one out, And this could be ram duals 01.base. And it's going to be parented to ram duals 01. It's not going to be connected, and it's not going to inherit scale. That way, if we take this bone right here, so yeah, now in pose mode, if I grab this, they come along with it, but if I scale it, they stay the same size, and that's very important. So that's why I don't want it to inherit scale. So back in edit mode, we have that set up now. Now we need a controller for this ram bone, and this is what's going to stretch it. So where do we want to stretch it from and to? So we want to stretch it from here to there. So basically you can get the idea that a bone here is gonna pull this whole ram dual 01 bone back and stretch it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select this main bone here and we'll shift S, selection to cursor. That'll move it right. If we look in the top view, we can see it's all lined up nice right in the center there, although this should be moved over so that it's right in the middle of the what do you call it, the knuckle. But it doesn't really matter because, like I said, we can change it later and we're not going to be using any sort of deformation, so it'll be fine. It's good to have everything aligned in one axis this way so that there's no rotation, or there's no rolling of the bones. The roll is going to be 0 degrees, so that's fine. That's directly right off of there. And we haven't created our new bone, so shift A to create a new bone from there. This bone is going to be called ram duals 01 dot controller, or just dot control. Is that what I named that one? Ram duals dot 01, ram duals dot 01. Yep, so that's the control. So then we're going to take the head, just grab it along there. Now we need to get the head perfectly aligned with this one. So we're going to select that head. We'll shift S, cursor to selected. That will align it perfectly. Then we're going to select the head of the control bone. Shift S, cursor to selection to cursor. That'll align it perfectly. And yeah, that is good. Except we just need to parent this one to knuckle 01. This bone right here. So now when we pull this back in pose mode, it takes that bone with it. Next up, we need to choose our ram 01 and give it a bone constraint. So we're going to add a bone constraint called stretch 2. Our target is armature, since it's our only armature, and the bone is the control bone. So ram dual 01 dot control. Now you'll see it moved way off. So to fix that, you just take the head tail slider, you move it all the way up, and you can see it's stretched all the way. And to get it back down to where it should be, you just hit reset. So that's going to be its rest position. So now you'll see if we take this bone and pull, you'll see how it drags that other, or the ram 01 duals bone, but you'll see how that bone also stretches. So that's how it's going to stretch the piston in that ram. So that's how that works. So next up, that's the part I'm sure of. These other ones I'm not totally sure of, but I think I've got them figured out. It's just a matter of where do they stretch from and where are their origin points from. So I'm just going to continue this armature in edit mode. I'm going to select this head. I'm just going to extrude out somewhere in there. I'm actually going to move this to that point right there, just for organization's sake. Grab that, move it in the middle of there, right at that rotation point. This one is going to be, go to our bone tab, this is going to be knuckle 02, since it's the second knuckle. Just from the head, extrude to that point right there. It's going to be knuckle 03, extrude one more, just to there, whatever. This is gonna be bucket. Sorry. So that's our entire armature without all the other rams. So now if we rotate this, it takes everything with it, and it still stretches that original ram. Perfect. Okay, cool. So back in edit mode, now we need to set up this ram. So just the same as before, we need to create a a bone for it with a head and a tail, and then a control bone for it. So the main bone is easy. We just go and let's see, where's the origin point on that one? I'm gonna go into object mode, select this. The origin point's up there. I can start it up there. So Shift S, cursor to selected. That'll put it right in the middle there. Perfect. Since it's now offset from these ones. So that worries me a little bit, but I think it'll be fine. We'll find out. We can always change it later. And then I'm just gonna go back into my armature, and I'm going to Shift A, armature, single bone. That'll add it right where my 3D cursor is. I am going to now move my cursor to this center, so about right there. I'm going to take the head in edit mode. I'm going to take the head and I'm going to go Shift S, selection of cursor, and that'll move it right to there. But now it's the wrong way around, so I'm just going to select the bone, press W, switch directions. I'll flip it right around. That's perfect. So we're going to call that bone. This isn't RAM02, since this is RAM02 for knuckle 02. I'm going to call this RAM03. It actually controls knuckle 03. So, parent it to... Oh, I created an extra armature. Whoops. I should be able to join those. Hold on. If I select both of these, Control J, it should bring it right into there. Okay, cool. Go into edit mode. Okay, yeah, so just recall that this is RAM03. It's going to be parented to knuckle 03, I believe. Not entirely sure. We will figure it out as we go. Now we just need to create the tips thing, so we're just going to extrude from the head. And we're going to call that RAM03.tip. It is not going to be connected, and it's not going to inherent scale. Same with the tail. We're going to create one. RAM03.base. Its parent is not knuckle 03, however. Its parent is RAM03. Make sure this one, yeah, that one's fine. And it's not going to be connected. It's not going to inherit scale. So in pose mode, just Control Tab, by the way. If you scale it up, they stay the same scale. Control Tab to go back into edit mode or object mode. Anyway, back in edit mode, we now need to create our controller bone. So this is where you got to think. Where is this going to get controlled from? It's going to stretch, yes. Where is it going to stretch from and to? Because this one, it stretched from the base to the tip of the knuckle. So I believe this one stretches from here to, well, it always goes to the tip of the ram. That's obvious, I think. Because then that would make sense that as you pull back, it would pull it back this way, straight back this way. But I'm not entirely sure about that. Because this one controls the third knuckle, so it could be from here to here. I can't remember because I've rigged this a few times. I haven't actually went and completed it all the way to the point where I've got everything moving perfectly. Let me think about this for a second. Yeah, you know what? It does come from here to here because that way this bone, as this knuckle gets rotated up, this bone will be pushed backwards, pushing the ram in essentially. So yeah, we're gonna go, I'm gonna choose the tip of that one. I'm gonna go Shift S, cursor to selected. That way it's right in the center like we need. Come on. And then that's the important one. So now I'm just going to extrude a bone out and go right to there. Now that's right down the center. I think that'll work. I'm not 100% sure, but we will find out. It's just I want no roll on my bones. Otherwise they won't work properly. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure about this armature, but I think I've got it mostly figured out. If not, I might have to make a few adjustments. Anyway, this bone needs to be reversed, so we're going to W switch direction, and it needs to be named, this is RAM03.control under lowercase, and it is parented to, what did I parent this control bone to? Knuckle 01, right? Yeah, so this is parented to Knuckle 03, I believe, which is this one right here. No. Okay, awesome. So that's good. So now we just need to do our stretch 2 on this RAM again, the RAM 03. So under bone constraints, I need to be in pose mode again. Yes, bone constraints. Add bone constraint, stretch 2, target armature, bone is ram03.control. You'll see it screwed it all up again, so we go fully stretched, reset. Let's see if that worked. So now when we move ram03, if we move the controller, it does what we want. Is that supposed to be parented? No, okay, this isn't supposed to be parented to Knuckle 03, so we need to clear that parent in edit mode. So RAM 03 shouldn't be parented to anything, just like RAM 01 wasn't parented to anything. So now let's try it in pose mode. So now if we rotate this knuckle, as you can see, it moves the piston in, that'll be its max, and then it moves the piston out, or that'll be its min, sorry, and this will be about its max, somewhere in there. So yeah, that works, I think, the proper way. So that looks good to me. Now we need to create one for this RAM here. This is the hinge RAM. This is what pulls this hinge in as one whole unit and pulls the bucket back. So since we don't have the hinge created yet, we can't actually create the armature for that. So I'm going to take this RAM, I'm just going to move it out of the way. Because yeah, we can't do anything with that, and it's also the wrong way around. We can't do anything with that until I actually model the hinge. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to use this RAM as this primary RAM here that operates Knuckle 02, because we don't have anything that operates Knuckle 02 right now. If we go into pose mode, we can pull everything, but nothing's actually operating RAM 02. Nothing's actually being able to push on it. It's just this one and this one. So we need the one that controls the second knuckle, not RAM, sorry, knuckles. So I'm going to grab this. It's already centered, so I'm going to move it to that point. And then I'm going to rotate it along until it's about lined up. Doesn't have to be perfect because we're probably going to be replacing these RAMs. And then I'm going to simply scale it. So this will be a bigger RAM, down to about in there somewhere. The bigger the better, it'll have more movement. Now, you may say, okay, well, how come all our RAMs aren't the same size? Well, they won't be, and this makes sense to me structurally because there's 2 RAMs for this main knuckle, which makes sense because it's the load of the entire boom. But there's 2 of them, so it's got a lot more structural stability than just one slightly bigger RAM. So that's my reasoning behind that, and it also makes our job much easier. Otherwise, we'd have to make a whole new RAM. I'm just reusing RAMs here. So anyways, back into wireframe. Turn on our armature again. So now, this is where things get a little bit messy because we got so many bones in here. But anyways, we need to create our bone for this. So I'm actually going to move cursor to selected of this RAM because it's centered. Back in left hand view, I'm going to go into my armature in edit mode, and I'm going to shift A to add a bone there. I'm going to grab the head, I'm going to move it to the bottom of this RAM, and I'm going to line it up with the center line here and line it up in the center of the hole. So I'm going to get it roughly lined up in the center of the hole, and then using the center line, I'm going to wait until the lines perfectly intersect, and then we'll know it's pretty darn close to centered without having to use any actual reference. Close enough, it works 90% of the time, as long as things don't have to get stretched too much. So yeah, right around in there, looks like it's intersecting pretty good. Perfect. Okay, now that bone needs to flip direction, so just W, switch direction. Now this is going to be called RAM 02. The bone needs to be parented to the knuckle 02 bone, so that way it'll control this knuckle. Now from this bone we need to create our tip and base. So from the head, We're going to create that. It is parented, doesn't need to be connected. We don't want it to inherent scale. This is ram02.tip. We're going to extrude from the tail. This is ram02.base. Its parent is knuckles. Nope, its parent is ram02. Not connected, not inheriting scale. Alrighty, I'm going to make these actually different angles so that we can actually work with it. Move this one down. And I'm going to move, oh, that one's fine where it is, I guess. I'm going to move it at the same angle though. Same with this one, it's kind of in the way. I'm going to move it something like there, maybe. Maybe a little more straight out. Will make it easier to understand since there's so many bones here. Now, to make it even more confusing, we need a controller bone for this ram02 bone. So, let me think about this for a minute again. So it needs to control the stretching of this bone from here all the way up, because it always ends at the tip. So I think it actually comes from here to there. So we know it always starts here anyway, so we are going to go, oh, our cursor's already there, perfect. So we're just going to shift data, add a new bone. This is going to be called ram02.control. It's going to be parented to knuckle02. Alright, and then we need to take the head, and then, yeah, I think it goes to there. I think. We'll find out. So then we just need to flip direction, because you always want the head pointed at the tip of the ram, so just W, switch direction. And, oh, its parent got screwed up. Did I accidentally parent something else to knuckle02? I hope not. So knuckle02 is its parent. Now we go back to ram02, wherever that bone is, if I can find it. There we go, ram02. Oh, it doesn't need to be parented into knuckle02. That's what I did it wrong. Undo that. Okay, now we go into pose mode, and we make a constraint. Stretch 2 again. Target armature bone is ram02.control. Stretch it all the way out. Reset. Now let's see if that was the right way to do it. So if we move the whole entire thing, that bone does stretch as you would expect it to. You can kind of imagine the bones as if they were the actual mesh, and as if the green things were the pistons. So I think that works. We're gonna have to do something about this bone though. I think its base needs to come back to this point. Because, yeah, right now it looks like it's just not moving anywhere. I think it needs to be back there. But we can change that later, not a big deal. For now, let's work on ram02 and make sure it's working right. So now if we move the second knuckle, if we were to extend this ram out, and if we were imagining it, and if we were to extend this ram out, it would be able to extend up to about there, and it would stretch out, yes. And then it would be able to come down, all the way down to about, I don't know, maybe there, you would guess. And yeah, that stretches it in and out. I think that's proper. Not 100% sure, but we'll find out once we start actually assigning things. So there. Alright, so I think that is the entire armature as far as we can get it right now. If we move the main boom, all the pistons that we have stretch. Like that. If we move, that's basically the main knuckle and the first knuckle. That's basically the first knuckle in itself. If we move the second knuckle, both the ram that controls this knuckle stretches, and the ram that pulls this one stretches. I don't know if that's proper or not. Let's see, what is this parented to? I need to. It's not parented to anything. RAM 03. But I don't think they need to be parented to anything. I'm gonna have to double check on Jonathan Williamson's video before I go ahead and start assigning things. And then, so yeah, anyway, if we rotate that though, either way, both of them stretch, so that's good. And then if we rotate this, everything comes with it, and it does move that piston the way you would expect. But we need to create this hinge before we can go ahead and create this last ram. And then we also, I'm not going to worry about it now, we'll do it at a later date, but then we'll have to create one for that secondary ram. But it's not super important because there's the right side one that'll operate it either way. So I'm going to leave it there for right now, and then we'll go back and we'll do some more modeling, and we'll model that hinge. And then I'm going to make sure this armature is reset up properly, and then we'll finish rigging it, and then we'll start assigning things, and we will have a model that can move and fully rigged, and then we can start getting some detail modeling in. So yeah, this is looking to be about 3 parts at a half hour to 45 minutes each. So yeah, you're looking at about 3 hours total runtime to have everything good, ready, and moving. I'd estimate your building time at about 4 to 6 hours, depending on your skill level and your ability to follow tutorials at speed or not. And once we get all the details in and everything, I estimate that'll be another anywhere from 3 to 10 hours, depending on how detailed we go, and your build time about double that. So yeah, just a general idea. So I'm going to leave that here for right now, and then we will get into some modeling. So yeah, this will be part 2. So anyways, thanks for watching us rig what we have set up from the team here at blendertech.com. Again, that's blendertek.com. If you enjoyed this video and learned something, please like it, and don't forget to subscribe for more Blender, Unity 3D, and programming videos. We also now offer hard copy phone. Government, looking for me. We now offer hard copies of our videos. If you'd like a copy to download on your computer to watch later in the media player of choice, just let us know and we'll upload it to our server for you. If you dislike this video for some reason, don't just leave or hit the dislike button or whatever. Instead, leave a comment or email the team at info@blendertech.com about what you did not like and what we can improve on. Or let us know about what you did like and what we did very well. We also enjoy that. So if you give us constructive criticism, then we can improve our videos in an ongoing process from the community's input. We also take requests for tutorials, so let us know what you want or want more of. See you next time, and remember, create your way.